Let's get ready to rumble! You know what time it is, people? It is Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou in a huge heavyweight showdown with only one coming out on top. The question is, who will that be? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sani-That Sports Guy talking all things sport. And of course, today we're speaking boxing because, as we know, it is Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. A huge heavyweight clash of two behemoths where only one can come out as the winner. AJ, as we know, is looking to win in this fight and then go on to face Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk, depending on who actually wins that undisputed clash. Ngannou is looking to have a huge scalp on his resume, especially as he returns to the PFL and potentially looks to elongate his boxing career as well. It's an interesting fight. People believe Ngannou's power will be too much for AJ, whilst on the other hand, you have people who believe that AJ's boxing ability will be too much for Ngannou. And I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah, there are many in the boxing world who do think that Fury has more skills than AJ, and they might be right, but the skill set didn't really match up well against Ngannou. Although Fury does believe he's a very unpredictable fighter, in that fight specifically, he was very predictable. Ngannou saw what was coming, and that's why I think he had much joy. However, AJ won't really have that issue. If he stays on the outside and uses his footwork, the speed and power that AJ has, especially in that straight right, will be a massive issue for Ngannou, because I don't think Ngannou's got that head movement, which means that he'll be able to evade Anthony Joshua's punches. Whereas if AJ does fight on the inside, for example, he effectively plays into Ngannou's strengths, which is the strength, the skill in the inside fighting aspect, especially from a clinch perspective, and of course, those counter hooks. If AJ fights like he's done in his previous fights, especially under the tutelage of Ben Davison, which means that he uses his feet, he counters well, and he goes in and out of range well, it means that he has a very realistic chance of actually outboxing Ngannou without having too much issues. Because the one thing Ngannou done well against Fury was counter Fury's 1-2s, because Fury didn't really vary his attack. Whereas I think AJ can actually vary his attack in this fight, meaning that he won't have as much issue as previously envisioned. Of course, it goes without saying, Ngannou does have his perks. That power is phenomenal. I don't necessarily think we saw it to the best of its ability against Fury, but the fact that his punch did actually drop Fury goes to show he does have power. And we all know what he's done in the UFC as well. Both fighters do have questionable gas tanks, but if AJ does somewhat vary his attack and obviously target that body, it will slow Ngannou further down. If he does avoid getting into that slugfest, which I know he might want to, it has a better chance for him to actually win this fight. I don't think any of these fighters will get knocked out per se. Ngannou has a good chin, and I don't personally think he'll land a power punch that will drop AJ and stop him. But I think AJ's boxing skills are too good for Ngannou to cope with, and I don't think they match up well against AJ. Because how can a fighter who's only fighting in his second professional fight be able to take on AJ, who, if he does fight on the outside in an elite manner, will not be able to compete with? Because my prediction is AJ wins this by unanimous decision. But as we know, this is the sport of boxing and anything can happen. Because as the great Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And AJ may experience that come fight night against Francis Ngannou. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Of course, it's an interesting fight. Anything can happen. AJ is the favourite, of course. But Ngannou, if he does land that punch, does mean that he will win that fight. But the question is, will he actually do that? I want to hear your thoughts as well. Who do you actually think wins this fight, and how do you think the fight plays out as well? I've given you my thoughts, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to hit a like if you haven't already done so. Comment your thoughts on this fight, share with your friends and family, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, until next time, peace.